today's video is going to be short but sweet. Let's take a look at an anti-anxiety breakfast that can be really calming and potentially lower your anxiety significantly. I recommend you give this breakfast a try for a couple of weeks, as it has been extremely helpful for my own anxiety back when I was suffering. Scandinavian Bob here, hi! As a former anxiety sufferer, my goal with this channel is to make hundreds of videos with all kinds of tools and tricks on how to cope with anxiety. So, if anxiety is something that you struggle with, consider subscribing. Click on the little bell icon and let's get going. Okay, so let me first say that it is also possible to use intermittent fasting to cope with anxiety. And that is something I do myself every now and then, and I will make a video about how to do just that in the near future. But for those who eat breakfast, here comes a powerful anti-anxiety breakfast for you to try. As soon as you wake up, before you start making your breakfast, put a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar in a full glass of water and drink it in one go. Now the reason for this is because it contains prebiotics, and that in turn is good for your whole digestive system. Now some of you already know that about 90% of the body's serotonin production happens in your digestive tract, and by drinking apple cider vinegar first thing in the morning, you increase your chances of optimal serotonin production. Serotonin in turn helps regulate your mood and anxiety. Apple cider vinegar also helps regulate your blood sugar, and that is also extremely helpful for controlling your anxiety. So while preparing your breakfast, the second thing you do is brewing a cup of tea. And not just any tea here. I recommend chamomile tea. Did you know that, for example, one study made in 2016 showed that drinking chamomile tea can significantly reduce moderate to severe generalized anxiety symptoms if you drink it regularly. So don't skip this part. I recommend you swap your morning coffee for a cup of chamomile tea for the next couple of months. You see, coffee, as you know, is a stimulant, and for most people it actually makes anxiety worse. So with that in mind, removing that and instead adding the calming chamomile tea, well, it's a no-brainer, really. Then what you want to do is to make yourself a salad with leafy green vegetables. You can use different greens here, but I recommend you include spinach and a little bit of kale of some sort. Now it's very important that you also add some protein to that salad, and I recommend you use one or several of these: egg, tuna, salmon. Choose the one you like best or use all of them. Then what you do is you put a high quality olive oil over your salad, and this is important for absorption, so don't skip this step either. And lastly, you sprinkle some salt over your salad. Now the leafy green vegetables, and in particularly the spinach, is high in both potassium and magnesium, and these two minerals are extremely good for anxiety. Both of them are highly involved in the mechanism responsible for relaxation of your brain, muscles, and for making sure that you have a calm and steady heartbeat. And when we combine magnesium with potassium, then we have a winning combination. The salmon, egg, or tuna will give you vitamin B, and this is the most important vitamin when it comes to lowering anxiety levels. Vitamin B is involved in the functioning of your whole nervous system, and if you are deficient in this vitamin, like 20% of people are, then it becomes very difficult to deal with anxiety. You should also know that vitamin B is also involved in the serotonin production. And as I already mentioned, this is something we want to make sure is working optimally if we have mood or anxiety issues. In addition, the healthy fats in the salmon is anti-inflammatory, and it's very healthy for the brain. Studies have even shown that the healthy fats in salmon can significantly help with depression and anxiety in some people. By the way, did you know that inflammation is one of the bigger causes of anxiety and depression? Yes, you see, a part of the brain can also get inflamed, and when this happens, it often results in anxiety. And you should also know that the leafy green vegetables, well, they too are very anti-inflammatory, just like the salmon. And the salt you sprinkle over the salad has anti-anxiety effects in and of itself. that salt actually slows down your heart rate a bit. Yes, this is true, and also if you eat too little salt, then the reward system in your brain will be overactive, and this in turn makes your anxiety worse. Salt calms you down. Yeah, I know it might sound strange, but yes, it really does. And don't worry about adding salt. It's not unhealthy like we've been told when growing up. The truth is that it's actually much more unhealthy to eat too little salt. So, there's your anti-anxiety breakfast. I hope you enjoy trying it, and try it for at least a couple of weeks every morning. I'm pretty sure it will be helpful for most people out there. And speaking of anxiety foods, why not take a look at another anxiety video I made, where I talk about what foods you should do your best to avoid if you have problems with anxiety. These are foods that can be extremely problematic for anxiety sufferers, and I really recommend you do a little test and stop eating them for at least 30 days to see if you notice any improvement. So please take a look at that video right now while it's fresh on your mind. You can see that video on the screen right here. Just click on that and it will take you there. This is Scandinavian Bob signing out for today, and remember, if you're going through hell, keep going.